talking. Oh, man.
Talking big noise.
Hey, bro, my man, you've been married for 3 years now, right? Y'all
Yep.
just celebrate y'all's 3rd anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I'm gonna talk like I'm way older than you, but like we only 3 years apart. But I can remember you when you were about like 19, 20 years old. Got to see you going from fresh out of high school, going to your first college stop, then going to your second college stop, finishing your playing career, going from a player to a coach. You know, going from a bachelor to engaged to married. Now you married, father of 2, man. Talk about that whole grind, you know, growing into basically manhood, man.
Well, you know, just a transition. I think everybody got to experience those years, you know, especially the young years of, you know, having fun in college, you know,
cutting up,
getting it in, you know, all that. And, you know, throughout all that, that's how I found, you know, who belonged to me, you know what I'm saying, who was really perfect for me, you know, in the end. So it ended up working out the way it was supposed to. But yeah, you know, just it was a fun. I got stories on top of stories on top of stories, you know.
That I know.
Yeah, but it was a fun time. But you know, just when you know, you know. Yeah.
Facts.
I just had to, you know, prioritize, and I don't know, the right woman. She just got a way of, you know, getting you right, getting you in order. It just wasn't a thing of. I wasn't looking for it at the time. Let's just say it like that. It just happened. It's like kind of therapeutic. You know? Yep. And she would probably say the same thing if she was talking about it too. Mm-hmm. So it just worked out that way.
How'd y'all meet, man? How'd that first interaction go?
Man, at school. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't. Once I got to them, I can't always say that I've, you know, always been, you know, how I am now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But definitely by that time, I'm super confident. You know what I'm saying?
True.
And I ain't ducking nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Coming straight at it.
Yeah, but it ain't running game or nothing like that. It's just me, you know, just being personable, talking, doing all that. I noticed her when we was at in the financial aid office.
Bacon College, man.
Yeah, just start chopping it up a little bit. You know, introduced myself. Didn't get all gung ho. Didn't ask for the number and none of that. You know what I'm saying?
That's key. Not ask for the number on the first time.
Yeah, you know, I knew I'd see her around some point in time. You know what I'm saying? So played it cool. And it just kind of, you know, went forward from there.
Good deal, man. Good deal. Mm-hmm. So, and I'm gonna tell you what's wrong. Obviously, I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. At what point did you know that? Oh, dang, she's an athlete. I'm an athlete. Did you know right off the top that she was one of the athletes?
Yeah, that's probably one of the questions that I asked right out the gate. You know what I'm saying? Because I think everybody that goes there is there for sports primarily. It's very few people that you'll see that's going there just to go to school at Bacon.
Just to get the college experience.
It's so many more places that you could go if you were just going to college, you know, so to speak. But, you know, we whenever I met her that day, I chopped it up with her a little bit, and, you know, she told me she played volleyball, I played basketball. It was kind of a different situation because and I wasn't the only person like this. There was a lot of us that was JUCO transfers. Maybe a lot of the credits didn't transfer over or whatnot. And that NAIA clearinghouse was rough. You know what I'm saying? So she kind of had to take my word for it that I was telling her, you know, like, I can play. Like, you know, for real. And then other people was telling her too, you know, from people that already had been playing or in practice or whatnot.
Wonder what she hit you with the side eye like.
I mean, she might have. I don't know.
Right.
But you know, volleyball season before basketball season, so I was able to see her beforehand. She was, you know, she been a dog in volleyball for sure. You know what I'm saying? But and dudes might not necessarily be going to watch volleyball just to, you know, watch volleyball at that point in time. You know what I'm saying? They kind of peep the scene, seeing who's who, what's what. But throughout the midst of that, you like, oh yeah, she could play for sure.
Hard. Man, okay, and then, you know, once I say we because we kind of made the transition together, all of us moving from Muskogee, Oklahoma, out here to Oklahoma City. You and I were coaching. But she was still in the service industry. You know what I'm saying? And still is 1 foot in, 1 foot out. The way I like to talk about it. But you were instrumental in getting her coaching career started, man. Take me through that because that's pretty solid, bro.
Yeah, so once we got done with Piedmont, you know what I'm saying, I took a little break and was chilling, you know, from coaching all together. My boy Jack hit me up. He asked me to come over there and, you know, help out. So I kind of went through that whole process. And in the midst of me doing my interview and trying to get on, I don't know, somewhere in between there they were saying how they were looking for a volleyball coach too. Now she had been coaching at Piedmont as an assistant, just on the side a little bit, but I know she has a deep knowledge of the game, so I just kind of, once they told me that, I got wind of that. I was like, well, my girlfriend at the time, I was like, she's from California, heavy into volleyball, knows this stuff, and she's an assistant right now at Piedmont. If you brought her over there, you know what I'm saying, as a head, I'm pretty sure she would come and do it, you know what I'm saying, and kind of implement her own philosophies and whatnot when it comes to that. So they actually, took my word for it at the interview and then got her in there, and we both started at the exact same time.
Man,
same school.
That's ideal. But what's funny is that you just had a hunch and just went with it because you didn't really have time to hit her up and be like, "Yo, is this okay?" You just sort of volunteered. Mm-hmm. How was her reaction when you left that interview and told her what you just did? Basically,
she was like, "Wow, for real?" You know what I'm saying? I was like, "Yeah, so they probably gonna end up hitting you up." I didn't know for sure. Right. You never know for sure in those situations. But she, they ended up hitting her up, and then she went, and it all worked out, and it was a good deal too. Especially from the sense of us having the same schedule, same off days. You know what I'm saying? All that. It really made things very feasible as far as us relationship wise, and you know what I'm saying, getting to go out of town at the same time, doing all that planning, getting every holiday off.
Yeah.
It was a good deal.
Yeah, I do see that working for y'all, man. But I definitely I've heard about the opposite effect of that too. Some people being like, "Hey, baby, I love you, but I don't necessarily want to be
I see
where
too
you
much
at all day, every day." You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all never ran into where it's like, "Yo, we need a little space."
Nah, because we're two different departments. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't see too much of her, and the schedule got offset. And I don't mind seeing her. You know what I'm saying? So
sure.
I don't know. I know everybody's different in that aspect of it, but it worked out for us in a good way. And what's funny is she was a head coach right out the gate when she got there. I was just an assistant. You know what I'm saying? Not just saying it like I'm downplaying anything like that, but that's where it was before. Like now we both head coaches, but at first she was her own, her head coach, and then I was the assistant. So.
Yeah, and see, coaching is coaching to some degree. So you've been in the business for a little while now. Can you remember some of the things where she sort of had to lean on you for some advice in some cases in terms of just navigating through being a coach?
Oh yeah, just dealing with kids, being punctual about certain things. Yeah. Some things that are not so big to us, and we would think that's not a big deal. Mm-hmm. You gotta really pinpoint and make sure you get that stuff done the right way, the way that they want to, even on the books and everything else like that. Mm-hmm. Just, you'd be like, oh, that's not that big a deal, and kind of brush it to the side like, nah, look, I've been here, I've seen that, and you need to do it this way. And even from experience of me being around good head coaches, not even me, I wasn't one at the time, but I knew, okay, it's a certain way that you do things and carry yourself, you know what I'm saying, as far as that goes. So,
man. Now, but I know both of y'all personally, obviously, so I know y'all do a hell of a job as far as just investing in those kids. How easy or rough, if you would use either one of those terms, is it for you to sort of leave work at work and not bring at least some of it home? Because I think in order to be really good at anything you do, you're going to take some of it to the crib with you. And it's hard to shut that brain off. And I'm pretty sure I've seen both of y'all do that, man. Trying to figure it out.
It's hard, especially for us. I mean, we're in a totally different dynamic because her sister plays for both of us. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
Has been playing for both of us for years.
So
you really ain't got no choice but to bring it home, because if you want to say, oh, okay, we on the parent side of things, now we on the parent side, hey man, why ain't you doing this? Why ain't you doing that? You know what I'm saying? Just think about typical parent conversations that they have with their kids on a day-to-day basis on why are you lacking, here in the game when you shouldn't be.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then from the standpoint of, we dealing with a lot of the same kids. Some of my girls that play basketball, play volleyball for her and whatnot. So we deal with a lot of the same dynamics, when it comes to that type of stuff. So just, it's hard. I mean, we talk about it even on our off days, good and bad, and we're really trying to, change the status of where we're at as far as female athletics, really predominant in men's basketball there, men's soccer, stuff like that. But we trying to really change the culture and make it to where people want to come to, Northwest Classen, and they don't look down upon it. It didn't help us going to 6A, but
tough battle.
It is what it is. We're not making excuses. We just trying to make the most out of whatever situation that we got. So we're trying to get their minds programmed to where their 6A program and to where they have to hold themselves at a higher standard. So yeah, it's really no off switch with us, to be honest.
Yeah.
Half the time.
Who's the good cop? Who's the bad cop, man? Between you and her when it comes to baby sis.
Oh man, we both probably bad cops.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Bad and worse.
Yeah, and good. Big critics because, arguably, and we're not just saying this because she's our kid or whatever, but
right.
she's the best player on both of her teams. You know what I'm saying? On the basketball team, she's the best player. In volleyball, she's the best player. That's not to say that somebody couldn't come and, take that, do that. But as far as where we've been, what we've been dealing with, she has the most upside and has done the most with her situation out of that.
Right.
So, we gotta be the bad cops, and we both super competitive. Like we've been around. You know what I'm saying? So we really not settling for less.
I feel that. But you know what? I've seen y'all give the kid her roses too. You know what I mean? It ain't just all bad. You show her love whenever it looks good, but if it ain't looking good, you're for sure not shy about letting that be known too. That's where it's got to be. Now, y'all got 2 little boys now, man. You got baby Creed and you got Tristan, man, better known as Tum Tum.
Yeah.
How you feeling about that now?
Man, I'm blessed, bro.
Yeah.
Every day it's kind of like, people tell you beforehand that it's not, it won't hit you, until, things keep going. But it's just like time has really flew by, especially with, Craig, he already a year old, a year plus. And he got a personality, crazy personality already. He into everything, super busy. Right. And, like to be active, like to do things. So I can see a lot of, both of us in him. And then, Tristan, even in this small period of time, just, he eats a lot, sleeps a lot. But, I think I got 2 real dogs coming. That's just me. This is my outlook on it. We ain't going to sell nobody short. But
for sure.
And I think a lot of people have different dynamics of parents. One parent might be super laid back. The other one might be super into sports, competitive, whatever. But we both competitive. So, you know what I'm saying? People might look at it and be like, man, your daddy going to be on you. Like, no, they mama going to be on them.
Right.
That's really the one that you think is, going to pull some slack on them. Like, nah, that's the one that's really going to be on them like that because we just hold people to a higher standard. And that's not just ours. That's everybody that we deal with. We just don't like mediocrity.
That's right. And that's not just on an athletic standpoint. That's from an academic standpoint.
Oh, man. Telling you, we pull cars. We will go to classrooms and pull up and embarrass you in front of your classroom if we have to. So.
It's gotten like that. And I'm going to tell you, I didn't even have this in my notes, but you saying that just made me think of something else, man. Your cousin. Oh, Caleb, man. He's an 8th grader at Tulsa Central High School. Well, he's in middle school, but they all on the same campus. So, man, you've had to give him some straightening, as we like to say.
Man, I've had to pull up on him a couple of times. That dude got so much potential,
right?
And he's figuring things out. He reminds me so much of myself at that age. Just kind of get lost in the shuffle, get to following, and trying to find yourself. And that's what middle school is. A lot of kids trying to find themselves.
Identity crisis.
They really don't know what they're doing. But, he can end up being one of the better ones, not only for you, but, on the football side and everything. I think because he's really smart, book smart, and he could, gain some street smarts too, you know what I'm saying? Right. But he just got to apply himself. He just been being lazy lately. But I already know what he's gonna do. He gonna get right.
Oh yeah, so. He damn sure one of those good mannerable, mild mannered kids. But you can tell he just be coasting.
Exactly, one of the ones that everybody likes. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. But
$1 million smile.
They'll start noticing everybody like him and coasting, like you said. Like that's not gonna get you by.
Gotta hit the gas.
You got to get together.
I got one more question about fatherhood. Have you felt a shift in the way that you approach your business as it pertains to being a teacher and a coach in the kid business since you've become a parent? Do you think about it, feel it any differently? Maybe,
just growing, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work. I definitely could say I've grown from when I first started, fresh out of college. Hothead, thinking everybody's supposed to be one way, and you just dealing with a bunch of different personalities, and you learn how to manage that and learn how to look out for yourself too at the same time. True. In between all of that. So, you could say that. But with me and my people, the ones that I care about and the ones that I hold accountable, I'll never shortcut them. And I feel like every stop I've been at, the ones that I really deal with and the ones that tell me what they want to do, I do whatever I can to help them reach whatever goal it is they're trying to reach.
Yeah.
The right way. I can't cut corners for that. I just can't do it, man.
Nah, because somebody did it for us. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Since we can't pay them back, we got to pay it forward. What's your day job, man? In the building, your impact, your influence on not just the student athletes in the building at Northwest Classen, but the students in general.
Yeah, well, when I first got there, I was doing history. I was on the East Cert, emergency cert. So I did history for about 2 years, and then I was coaching the boys basketball my first year.
Right.
But just managing a lot of the history that I was in was Oklahoma history and world history. So I was doing a lot of freshman, sophomore work, kind of looking out for not only my players but other people's players too. Kind of keeping an eye on them, seeing what they're doing, staying in the loop on that. And that's also one of the many jobs of an assistant that a lot of people don't take into, in consideration, that you have to also be like a counselor at times too.
Oh, yeah.
You got to go back and grade check, make sure this person's doing that, and refer it back. Say if I was working for you and be like, hey man, such and such, they slacking in class right now. You probably want to get on them a little bit or go and check that out. So that was primarily my role my first year there. Then I got my own job, the girls' job, at the same school, and a lot of the same things. Now I'm in the gym, so I see a lot more kids, deal with a lot more kids, and a lot less book work, but you still have to keep an eye out for everything that's going on. And I'm just in the loop. You got a funny way of when you connect with the kids and all that stuff, you kind of hear and know everything that's going on.
Without asking.
Without asking. So I tell my girls all the time, look, you might think you're getting away with something. You might think I ain't heard about it, don't know about it. But somewhere down the line, I've already heard about it. Somebody gonna tell me about it. So you might as well do the right thing.
Listen, how often are you having to run kids up out of that gym, man?
Oh, damn.
Why is that like the go-to place for everybody that wants to skip?
The people that don't want to do anything. I don't know. They just think it's cool. I would just rather you just not come to school. That might sound a little harsh, but if you don't plan on doing anything school related and you just that big and bad, and you can skip, because where I come from, my household, if I got a call and said, hey, Creed was acting up today and he got detention, it was big repercussions for that. Yeah. So y'all can just go in here and skip class and do what you want to do with it. Oh, no, I ain't going for that.
You don't know about
it got to the point to where now, especially one of our bigger classes, or arguably our biggest class, before the class, me and Jack sit out in the hallway beforehand, and it's like VIP entrance to a club or something like that. Like, we got a list of our roll, and we kind of checking you off. If you ain't on that list, you're not getting through the door.
Straight up.
Because that's how many kids, we would sit them out, or we would call out names. And there's been so many times, like, you might have one time you have 8 to 10 kids that is in there that's not supposed to be in there after you done filtered them out. So we just kind of found a smarter way to do it, and it's been working ever since then. We really haven't had many problems in that hour of kids being in there that's not supposed to be in there.
Crowd control. But I'll tell you one thing that I've learned in my experience in education is that, you can be as good as an instructor from a content standpoint as you want to be. But if you don't have control over your class, you can't manage your classroom or gym. In your case, man, it don't matter that much, man. And last thing I want is for somebody that I got to be calling for Mayday and backup.
I'm telling you, if you don't have that classroom management, that's just as important. There's been people, I know you probably seen the same thing, as people been let go over that, the same way they've been let go over not, following the curriculum or their kids being on track. So that's just as important.
Yeah. All right, now bring me up to speed on the state of your program currently, man. What are y'all looking like? And the reason why I asked that is we about roughly 2 weeks into official practice, man. What are y'all looking like? How the preseason go? How you feeling about the whole operation?
Man, we are really young, but
in terms of experience or classification?
Both.
Okay.
I'm young every year in experience.
There you go. Got you.
I get kids that have never played before, and I'm just hipping them to the game and showing them how to do things, and I have a little bit of a different process than most people do. In most 6As. Most 6As might have a tryout and, might tell certain girls they made it. Nah, as far as numbers sake, I take just about anybody that wants to go there, you know. So a lot of girls come up and ask me, "Oh, when's try to?" Look, if you tell me you honestly are really interested in playing basketball, you pretty much can make my team. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter what grade you in. Just because we've been trying to work towards, especially after COVID, the numbers were so down, you know, participation wise, that we were trying to work to get those back up, which we did. You know, now we floated around 25 plus. You know,
that's pretty good. From 9 through 12.
All the way around. So just young, and I've actually had more girls really interested in getting better and actually want to do something past high school with basketball than I've ever had. You know, we've been doing morning workouts. At the most, I've had 6 girls there, and we talking not like morning workout like they getting there at 7. Like our school starts at 7:35, so
that's rough.
I'm telling them they got to be there at 5. And then they got to be there at 5, and then we work from 5 to 6:45. And at 6:45, then you go shower and you get ready for school, and then you go to school. So
and we do it all again in the afternoon.
And I've had a handful of them that's been there pretty much every day. You know,
and that's been optional, right?
Yeah, it's never mandatory. Never forced that on anybody. Everywhere I've been, when I coach with you, whatever, I've never said, "Hey man, you got to be here. You got to do this." They just kind of helps me pick out and see who we gonna be able to roll with throughout the season. And it was the same way when me and you was coaching too.
That's true.
Together, and even before that, those are the people that you're willing to invest in more, willing to take more chances on, and know, you know what I'm saying, that they really care and put the time into the program.
Yeah, you learn a lot about yourself whenever the ball is in your court. That's most definite. But see, you've always been a gym rat and a worker like that.
Yep.
So talk about your staff, man. Well, what type of workers do you have with you in them trenches day in and day out?
Well, we have a very unique staff. I would say from the standpoint of when I came from Muskogee, which is another 6A, you know, it was about 5 of us on staff. Maybe 6.
Yeah, it was 6 at one time.
You know what I'm saying? All paid, stipends, you know, pretty decent.
Right.
Now, you know, I had one head assistant, and then I have room for one more assistant that they'll pay.
Right.
You know, so really that's only, you know, 2 assistants that I have for, you know, a 6A program. But the ones that I do have, they're very, you know, instrumental in our program. One of them, my head assistant, Coach Moreland, you know, Yancey Moreland.
Right.
A lot of people might look and say, you know, on the basketball side that, you know, I don't see it as much, you know, on the basketball side. And she has history of basketball, has played basketball and all that. But as far as the classroom and the logistical side and, you know, the paperwork side of getting stuff done, she's very instrumental and she's very effective, you know, when it comes to that stuff. And she's an eager and willing learner when it comes to on the basketball side too.
That's big.
You know, open, you know, and she's been there at some of the morning workouts too, bringing kids. And, you know, that's a big part of what we have to do too. Parents aren't willing to get up, and that's at every level. I don't care where you at. Suburbs, you know, urban,
inner city,
whatever. Parents, you might get there and you see a car in the driveway, and they not willing to go the extra mile. But their baby is supposed to be, you know, big time and do this. Why they ain't doing this? But you as a parent, you're not willing to go ahead and invest in them the way you're supposed to. You know, but she'll bring kids too. I'll bring kids, and you know, she's just really good at the little stuff that we need too, as far as getting stuff in for our program. Donors choose stuff like that. You know, she's really good on that side of it, and just making sure we have everything. And with the grades, oh man, she knows everything about every girl. You know, and she goes and she makes sure that every girl in our program is good. If they're not good, they're gonna get good. So
that's what I'm talking about. So she's in the building full time every day. She's a teacher.
And then Coach Bryant, he coaches football too, so we don't get him that first part. But as soon as football's over with, he comes to us too, and he's been so good for me too over the last couple of years. He's grown, and he might not notice this, but he's grown over the last 2 or 3 years of, you know, just really his understanding of the game. And he might have, you know, he probably understood. I know he understood things beforehand, but just being more vocal and growing. You know, everybody kind of grows, you know, differently. Everybody has different coaching styles, but just getting more vocal and, you know, seeing things and speaking on it. Right. And he's really gotten better, you know, in that standpoint. So I'm really lucky to have him too. And he has a great relationship. What I've noticed is if me and you were talking from the outside looking in, and we would think, oh man, he's a quiet, shy, you know, shy guy, all that. But the kids love him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they always talk about, oh yeah, you know, this Coach B. So he's a good one in funneling me information too. On knowing what's going on. Like, yeah, man, I heard this. This one's doing this, they doing that. So
They
yeah,
That's
it
dope.
works out.
Now, when you delegating responsibilities, are you doing it? Do you do it based on what their strengths are, or based on what you would rather not do? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
'Cause I think we all got certain divisions of the program, of managing the program, that either we're not good at or we just don't love it. You know what I'm saying?
I would say I delegate stuff in the sense of what we need,
Right.
but also what they need. Because I felt like, as far as whenever I was coming up and coaching and doing all that, working on other people, they kept finding ways to push me, even though what I'm saying, I might not ask for it or whatnot. Delegating responsibility to me. You know what I'm saying? Like Coach Berry, right at the gate, boom. You got your own team. As soon as you get done with college, you coaching that, you doing that. And then, moving forward from that, and then even doing stuff, with you. And it just, I don't know, you need the extra push sometimes.
Yeah.
So I know one of the things I did tell them this year is I said, we last year we only had varsity. We couldn't do fresh,
No
frost,
sub-varsity, huh?
couldn't do JV, none of that. So we really didn't have to worry about that. Now this year I'm like, look, each of you guys are going to be responsible for one of those other teams. I don't care which one you guys pick, but at some point in time, you guys are both going to have to go to both. But, like, say, if one is standing for the JV and the other one's sitting, then for the freshmen, it'll flip-flop, and, the other one's sitting. So just kind of learning how to run your own program, getting you prepared, because that's what everybody else was doing for me, trying to, help me get prepared for whenever I got my my call or whatever it was.
And I'm gonna tell you what's crazy. I remember once upon a time, but before you became a head coach, I remember you saying particularly that wasn't what your goal was. You know what I mean? So you would have been fine in the role of developing, which you still do. That's just one of the many things that you do.
Yeah.
Did that change before you became a head coach, or once you got that position appointed to you, it's like, all right, I got the battery in my back now?
Yeah, I just felt like it was God giving you the extra nudge, that I needed, whatever that opportunity presented itself. I always said I didn't want to do it just because from a distance, I always pay attention to what's going on with everybody else, and I would see the dealing with the some of the parents or the dealing with the constant phone calls at any time of day, any time of night,
right.
Just all that extra responsibility and it falling back on you. I've never had a problem with stuff falling back on me as far as being the head, because even from a freshman standpoint, what I'm saying, where we came from, they cared about, freshman team and freshman games and all that stuff. So I never cared about that. I'm willing to take the lumps that come with it, with being a head coach. It was just the extras that came with it.
Yeah.
That I'm like, man, I already hear my man's having to deal with this. I'm not trying to deal with this.
But it's only a matter of time before you deal with something that we can put in the BS category.
But yeah, it really hasn't been that bad for me so far in that category, because maybe it's where I'm at in a different dynamic. But a lot, I don't really have to deal with a bunch of issues, parent-wise and stuff like that. So,
what type of inclusion do you have as far as parents being reachable, being present, being just team players, meaning that you can reach out to them and they'll do whatever it is that you're needing done?
See, that's where it's different at from where I came from. Not saying that we don't have none of those or any of those, but we're just not a whole lot of parent involvement, man.
Right.
Like, I don't know if where you come from is different dynamics, because you could say that Muskogee's a free lunch district or whatever like that, but it's a little bit different than dealing with I'm dealing with real inner city kids, real inner city problems, stuff like that. And a lot of people
you may never meet,
and a lot of people's concerns, the last concern is sports, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So just, hey, my baby's fine with it, they having a good time, whether they are or not, that's fine. I got to go to work and make sure that our lights is on, that we doing this or doing that. I wish we had a little bit more, parent involvement, and that's not me saying that we don't have any at all.
Right.
But I just wish it would be a little bit better, because it matters,
Exactly.
The kids see that, and it makes them care a little bit more too. I think what you put priority into is, what they'll put priority into. So if sports might not be that big a deal to you, For your kids, make it a little bit more of a bigger deal, because who knows? You might not even know because you haven't been around, but man, they have a chance to turn this into something that could be lucrative for them, whether it be education, scholarships, whatever. But you don't know that. You haven't been around that. So all you know is, look, man, you get done with the school, you need to make, or some of them, before they get done with school, some of them come in freshmen, sophomores, they working full-time jobs. And they get their own paper. So it's hard to bargain with that with some kids, and they, they're not worried about school, but they can't see past it now. And sometimes it's programmed because of their surroundings and their environment, whatever they teach them on that, but it's so much more to life. And I think truly when you reward yourself in life, I don't think it really has much to do with money. I think it's when you're really doing something that you truly love to do.
Right. You seem to, life has an uncanny way of giving that to you once you're where you're supposed to be. You know what I mean? And you may never get rich, but you'll be all right. That's the way I look at it. Now, you mentioned, you said a whole lot to unpack right there, talking about the dynamic of not just the student athletes over there, but the student body in general. So given all of that, how do you handle accountability? And I'm really interested in hearing your answer, because we talk all the time. You tell me stories about what accountability looked like for you when you were coming up, whether it was at home or in sports with your coaches. Like you had some no-nonsense people around you, and consequently, you're a no-nonsense kind of guy, but we got these kids that if you press them too hard,
you push them away.
Yeah. How you balance that?
You still remain true to yourself, but you have to be realistic on their situations. So, this would be a great example to use. Let's say we just got our fall break, right?
Yep.
I know going into a fall break that everybody's not going to be at practice. I just know that. And it's not because they don't want to be necessarily, but they just don't have a way to get there, or, the means to get there. It's only so many people that I can pick up and what I can do. And like literally some of the answers that you get every single year is, I'm going to be, the regular is, we've been in a suburban area where they go out of town and taking trips and all that.
Yeah, they're going to take them trips.
Yeah. And that might be a thing for one or two people. But mine is, I really have to babysit. I really have to stay home and watch other kids and, do this and do that. So you just kind of got to be realistic, and you can't hold everything against them. So where we come from in the old school is like, oh, man, sure, you missed a day of practice, you done fell all the way back on the totem pole.
I'm telling you.
You know what I'm saying? And now it could possibly be the same way in certain type of things, but you can't really hold a grudge with them depending on their situation. Because you really don't know, what's going on with them and how they're going to get there. And then it could be a situation where you dealt with somebody and they don't have a ride, they tell you go pick them up, whatever. Shoot, we might hit somebody up and their phone don't work no more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or they don't have a phone, or, stuff like that. So
you didn't know till you had to make a call.
It's kind of word of mouth type thing. So you really, I don't know, man. It's the little things that we take for granted, or that we would think it's not a big deal. It is, So you just kind of got to be realistic, and I don't really hold grudges when it comes to that stuff, but I do let people know at the same time, hey, you missing practice. It's probably not very likely that you're gonna play. So I'm gonna be honest with you. That's just where I come from. You're not gonna know what's going on. You're not really putting in the work. So they had to grow up a little bit faster as far as holding them accountable and saying, hey, you wanna be a young adult. You are a young adult. You have to act like one. So you have to be able to voice and tell me, hey, coach, I already know I'm not going to be able to get a ride here, or I'm going to be on this side of town and do this and do that. And if I can help you, I'll help you, And if it just doesn't work out, it didn't work out, and I won't hold that against you. But thank you for letting me know, because I treat it just like a no-call, no-show. If I don't hear anything from you, you ain't told me anything, just like in a real job, you'll get fired. So
yeah. So with practices on days where there's no school, knowing that reality that you just shared, how do you tailor your practice plans? Has there ever been a situation where you had some stuff lined out that you really wanted to touch on and get done, and you're just like, well, looks like it's going to be a skill day?
Yep, plenty of them, especially with numbers-wise. COVID was really hard last year.
Yeah,
because
it hit certain programs differently.
You could not obligate people to be there last year. Yeah. You couldn't hold that against them. Did
the kids know that too?
Yeah, I mean, they knew that, but they had other things going on, and it was just like 1 second you could be in stride and going, and then the next you out for 2 weeks. And back then when it first started, like If you out, you quarantine for 2 weeks, it's 2 full weeks.
Yeah.
So that sets you back, especially in basketball terms, really, really bad. So just, I don't know, man. It was difficult in that standpoint of it, but, just kind of make the most of it and do what you can.
Yeah. That's what it's always. You only run out of options when you stop looking for one. That's where I look at it. All right, so now let's jump into the summer action, man. The THSS MAVS, or Lady MAVS, however you want to break it down. You took Tangi to play with them a summer ago, right? In 2020? Or was it 2019?
Yeah, it had to be. What's this? This was 2020. So yeah, it had to be 2020.
2020. How in the hell did you end up coaching? You know what I'm saying? A summer later, and you invited me on board to do it with you, but I didn't necessarily see that coming. And I know how seriously you take your summer vacation, so I didn't necessarily see that coming at all, man.
I wasn't trying to. Too.
Yeah. How that happened?
The quote unquote thing would be people saying, "Oh yeah, he's trying to, he's not from around here, trying to get to know some people, get his foot in the door, maybe change the trajectory of where he's from this program." I don't recruit. You know what I'm saying? I deal with whoever I deal with. That's who I work with. And, it is what it is. But, man, it was just all, it was Darius Buggs and Corey Harrison. That was really just, they had been planting that seed into me for a minute. And I think what it was especially from a mutual standpoint, especially me and Corey, because we really cool.
Right.
He just started.
Brothers,
we started picking each other's brain. And he kind of noticing like, oh yeah, he kind of know what he's talking about. He's seeing some of the same things that I'm seeing and doing some of the same things that I'm doing. And I really don't even know how I ended up being. Maybe it's just the coaching me, but when I first used to go, I would just take Tangi and then I would just sit and watch and wait. And I'm one of those coaches too.
Strictly parent mode.
Yeah, I don't say, hey, y'all should be doing this. That's wrong. You know what I'm saying? Let them do what they do. If I feel like something need to be critiqued within the household or whatever, I tell mine whenever we get in the car on the way back home or whatever. But, I let them figure that out. And I don't know, somewhere along the line, I started doing skill work with them little by little. Then it turned from little to a lot, and then they just started asking me to coach. And my answer was no. Like out the gate, they probably said no at least 5 to 10 times. Like, nah, I'm good.
So they're really pressing you then.
Yeah, just asking like, man, you sure you don't want? I'm like, nah, man. Yeah, I already coach year round, and
right.
Just with school ball and stuff, I'm cool. I like my summers, and then I don't know. They just kind of got me to come around to it, and it just made sense. And I did it. I don't know. Maybe it was because of COVID and all the time missed and whatnot, but. It ended up being a good deal for me. I enjoy it. Yeah. I did enjoy it for sure.
Man, okay, so talk about the talent in that program that you got to be around every day.
Oh man, top to top, man, top to bottom. I would say if the best in Oklahoma, top to bottom, because you might have some other programs or some other girls that play elsewhere that are not in Oklahoma, but as far as Oklahoma talent goes, oh yes, it's none better.
Yeah.
And just seeing them and the intensity and just knowing, which ones belong and you see why they belong and what level that they at. And then even from the coach's standpoint, you might think of where I come from in my program. I got a bunch of girls who maybe don't take basketball as serious, maybe never played basketball as much as these other ones have. And they get over there and then you start seeing, okay, yeah, it's different, but it's not that much different from where I'm at either, from the standpoint of you still got a couple. You might have some ones that's a little lazy.
Yeah.
They don't put in the same work.
Even with the talent.
You know what I'm saying, and all those things that go into it. So you start noticing like, oh, this ain't. I'm expecting one thing, but it's not like that for every girl. Every girl's different. No different from the boys' side. No different from any other level. So I definitely enjoy it, and that's probably one of the reasons why I took. I tell you that too is. Getting to coach, that level of girls.
Right.
And
it's not every day, man.
Yeah, and people get lost in the shuffle of, I'm a firm believer in, trust me, coaches matter and whatnot. Yeah. But, the players, they're the ones that go out there and they make it happen.
If you don't have no players, you're not going to do very much or go very far.
We just try to put them in the best position to be successful. I'm not one that, I don't like to toot my own horn, take credit, do all that.
Right.
It's just not me. I like to, invest into the kids.
Yeah.
So if they doing what they supposed to do, I'll back them up all day long instead of, saying what I can and cannot do. But, we competitors.
Yeah.
And somewhere in between then, when these schools or these kids and they get these quote unquote, really good kids, or the ones that people want, and I get the ones that people don't want,
the
they can start to question your coaching. And I'm like, look, man, if I'm in the same position as you, I'm getting just as much or maybe more out of the situation in which I do.
Yeah.
So that was part of the reason why I wanted to do it too, was just for myself, personally, and just kind of letting other people know, like, yeah, I mean, I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying?
Don't get it twisted.
Yeah, as far as X's and O's and developing kids.
Mm-hmm.
So,
did you factor in at all what the way your sister-in-law Tangi might have felt about you deciding to coach her yet again when she already getting a dose of you during the school year, a dose of her sister Tori during the school year, and here we go with the second dose of Creed, in the summer. Did y'all talk about that at all?
Well, yeah, I treated. She's been my, that's my kid, quote unquote. So she's my first priority, just like the rest of these parents' kids is their first priority.
Rightfully so.
But every stop of the way, before I took Northwest Classen job, I asked her before I confirmed it if it was okay with her, if she wanted me to do it, if she think I should do it. And it was the same deal with AAU. Hey, if you don't want me to do this, you feel like it's a little bit too much for you, you see a lot of me, yada, yada, yada,
right.
I won't do it. That's fine. Just let me know.
And you were ready to stand on that, huh?
Yeah. It's not that big a deal to me. So, you know what I'm saying? I want her to be comfortable and want her to be successful too.
For sure.
But, both of them, she said, no, yeah, you should. I like you to do it, so, it is what it is.
Did you see any differences in her performances when she was in the midst of all of that talent versus when she's sort of the biggest fish school-wise?
Yeah. Probably one of the biggest things I battle with her is not, coasting and, just accepting your role.
Right.
You can't really choose what God has set for you. You know what I'm saying? So she's in a situation in school ball where she might not want to be the man or the woman, but she got to be. You know what I'm saying? Night in and night out.
Gotta walk that path.
It was good for her to, have a change of pace and get around some, other girls who are in similar situations at their school. Because all the girls that we deal with, if they're not the best players on their team, they're one of the best players. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So if they're not the one option, they might be the second or the third option. Mm-hmm. And, these are on really good teams that, that they play on. So it was just good for her to get with other girls that, kind of fit her skill set, to an extent. And
probably got similar goals, too.
Yeah, and stuff that you can do with them that you can't do with other ones, maybe who she plays with during school ball, they're not going to be able to catch that pass. These girls are going to be able to do that. You know what I'm saying? So it didn't fall so much on you, the burden of, winning and losing. And, with that summer team, we didn't lose too many games.
No, we didn't.
At all, wherever we was at. So it was a good change of pace for her, I think. And it was good for her in a sense of accountability. Because school ball wise, she might do this and do that, and I can't afford to have her out for very long.
So you having to live with some BS sometimes.
If all, you know what I'm saying? Now, oh no, you can come over here and sit with the rest of them. And me, I don't play favorites.
No, you don't.
The best girls is going to play, and whatever we got to do to win.
Yeah.
That's always, the key factor. I don't care who you are. And everybody can't say they coach like that. I don't care. I done seen a lot of people do that. Mm-hmm. You can take it. If you take offense to that, then that's fine.
Right.
Then that means the shoe probably fit. But can't nobody came and say that they watched me coach a game and said, man, he playing favorites towards Tangi or his girl or whoever. Nah. Mm-mm. Best player's going to play, and we going to win.
Yeah.
Whatever we got to do to win.
And listen, we sat some of our better ones in certain games just because they were underperforming or we had a unit that was rolling. So it was like, hey, man.
And they lucky that we had the injuries that we had this summer. If we didn't have the injuries that we had, we would have more offers than we had. And we had a lot of offers, and we did good in that standpoint of it. But it was a lot of games where we didn't lose many games. I don't know if we lose any if we had full strength.
Right.
But everybody, because of they just bring so many different talents.
Yeah.
And just different phases of the game with them.
That's facts. Mm-hmm. Man, dang, you just touched on something, and let's go into it. Okay, so with a team like that one, particularly, or anybody who's playing high-level AAU basketball, I think sometimes the objective can get a little lost. Like you got everybody wanting to get offers so they can have an opportunity to continue their career, go play in college. Cool. But sometimes that comes at the expense of playing to win ball games. Like, where's the line in between those two?
Yeah, I think both are equally as important.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because, first of all, if you really getting recruited the right way and the coaches really want you, they want winners.
Facts.
You know, so they are paying attention to that. But they can notice, too, okay, maybe a girl's in a different situation, her team might not be as good, whatever, and let's just see how she responds to adversity, too. So, you know, you can play, you know, both ends of the spectrum on that. But, I don't know, man. It's just I hold them accountable the same way, man. I think if you do stuff the right way and you are for winning and for the team and you're for skilling and drilling the right way, then everything else will just kind of work itself out.
Yeah, the winning will take
And
care
me and
of
you know, we've had plenty of conversations too. And when you got that many girls that's that talented, that can play, less is more. And
True.
I feel like me and you primarily, we've always done a good job of this. Especially in the AAU, if we gonna, you know, showcase what all of our girls can do,
Right.
kind of take turns doing it. You know what I'm saying? Now, if we got a high hand, we gonna feed that high hand. You know what I'm saying? You need to go to that. You need to find that.
Yeah.
But nobody that played with us can say, man, I didn't get a chance to get a shot up that game, or I didn't get a chance to show what I could do with here or there and do it like
Listen,
that.
we had a very consistent rotation, man. And all of them got a chance to get grooving in such a way to where we like, yeah, we're gonna let her roll. And dare I say, all of them had at least a game or two from the spring all the way to now where they got off like that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, we gotta let this one roll.
And we had so many different, like it was a fun summer, and it was a different one in itself because we had different pieces who we all planned from the start for them to be there, but they might have to come a little bit later here and do this or do that. You know what I'm saying? They played multiple sports, do multiple things. So in the midst of them coming when they supposed to, it might have been like, oh dang, we had one or two get injured here, so now they really got to come in and play, not just get adjusted, but you got to come right in and
feet to the fire,
and, you know, get right to it. So,
man, the split, right? Let's say, well, for lack of a better term, the split of the Mavs team here in Oklahoma City. So a year ago, they maybe about 12 deep, you would say. Something like that?
Yeah, they were more. They had two teams.
There were two teams back then.
There were two teams, yeah, last year too. Tangy played on that second team, and there was a handful of girls that played on that second team too that you weren't familiar to because they didn't play with us again this summer. But there was some that did play on that first team.
Okay.
That were they all good.
All
but
right.
might not be getting the same kind of looks as those top girls were getting, and then everywhere you go, they keep asking about, those ones. So the whole dynamic and idea of it, which I give all the props to, Corey and Darius on that, well, they were like, man, we got to get all these girls looks. And from the outside looking in, somebody would think some parents like them, Darius, his daughter Dariana, one of the top in the nation.
Oh yeah.
top 20 in the nation.
Yeah.
McDonald's All-American, or all that. They would think they would just be solely focused on them. And the same would go with Corey. He got one of the best point guards I've ever seen.
Flat out dog.
Male or female.
Right.
So you would think they would just be worried about them, but that was not the case. Everything they did was geared towards everybody eating.
Yep.
That was always the motto for them.
I attest to that.
Yeah, and I really respected them for that and, the moves that they made. So that was the whole dynamic of splitting the teams up. Now, a lot of people didn't like that, didn't get it, didn't want it to happen.
By people, you talking about parents?
Yeah, parents, probably players too. They've been playing together and winning and doing stuff at a high clip.
Right.
But at AAU, like you talked about a little bit earlier, winning matters. Yeah, it's a big deal, but the number one goal is to get your school paid for it, go to college and get seen like that.
Right.
That's where the win is. So we could go and win every tournament, but if all our girls don't have scholarship offers or, opportunities to go play at the next level, then it's really, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. That's what sort of tripped me out whenever, you would tell me some things about some folks that had some reservations about the deal. Because a lot of times the parents that had the reservations were, parents of those girls who needed more reps to get more exposure. And I was like, how can you argue that? You know what I mean? So I'm wondering, it made me think, is the objective just to, continue just being a part of the wave, just along for the ride.
And with AAU, I always say, yeah, people go after the names and all that. That is during the summer you develop your game. You get better. You take risks.
You get to be
You
selfish.
work on things that you don't normally work on. So if you're going through and you're doing the norm of what you're used to, then you're really not getting anything out of it. You know what I'm saying? So it benefited them way more, them getting out of the comfort zone, instead of, I might back up such and such. Oh, now I ain't backing up. I'm the one. I'm the starter. You know what I'm saying? I got to do this. I got to do that. Oh, man, I'm used to relying on such and such, being a number one, number two scoring option. I'm the number one, number two scoring option now. Yeah. So I got to be consistent. You know what I'm saying? In that. And but I feel like all of our girls blossom the right way with that. And they enjoyed the process along the way of being able to be like, oh, man, like, I'm shining. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing good. And we had some times where they had about 3 times where y'all got to play together again, too. So, and that was all Corey and Bugs, too. Yeah. That was all they ideas. So,
good GM.
It was just like, making people happy and giving them that extra push that they need, too, to get that up out of them.
I'm going to tell you what really was telling was that was the last run, too. That was the vet. I mean, that was a hell of a finish, man. Finishing with a bang. And I dare say that there were a lot of smiles in the end from the players and the parents, whether they had reservations or if they were all in right from the jump. But let's do some name association, man. Tell me about these ladies, even though I know about them because I was with you. But for somebody who may be watching or listening, tell them about Carly Gassaway. Man, what type of player was she?
Super underrated, man. Yeah. Super underrated.
Where she go to school at?
Choctaw High School, you know what I'm saying? A dog, very consistent throughout her career. Before I was even, coaching her, I've seen her game, and as far as shooters go, male or female, she's one of the best, most consistent ones that I've coached, you know. I've had some people say to me in the past, them puppy set, they it's money, with Creed or whatnot. Like, she is very consistent in that standpoint. I loved seeing her in that role this summer of coming over and handling the ball more, creating more for herself, doing all that, because we know she can, set, shoot, and do stuff for herself.
Yeah, it's comfortable.
But yeah, she really got outside of her comfort zone, and it just helped her take her game to the next level. And she already knew where she was going. She already had been committed. But along the way, I know she had at least 5 to 7 other schools reach out. Still within the midst of that, we had to turn people away. Like, oh, she's already committed. So
she hooked and booked.
Yeah, sorry, you gotta ask about somebody else because she already good to go. But yeah, she just great kid, great leader. Right. Very heavily into Christ, and she's just a great person to be around. So.
What about Olivia Johnson?
Oh man,
lefty.
Super talented.
Yeah.
She had a knee injury, prior to us getting her. But even with that knee injury, she still has a better step than most girls do, man. She got that natural creativity to her game,
Smart game,
yeah,
baby.
If she gets out of her own way in her comfort zone of being shy and quiet sometimes and, doing what's comfortable, she could be a really, really special player.
She's at Harding Charter or Prep?
Which one is I don't mean to sound disrespectful.
No.
Harding Prep is the better one?
I do believe so. The
green and white one.
There you go. Okay, yeah, okay. I think that's Prep. See, that was a real question. I ain't quite know.
Yeah, but yeah, that's the one that she's at. But I always told her she was probably the most talented one on our team. It was just what type of consistency level were we going to get out of her.
Right.
And she came out the gates just blazing. You remember, first tournament or two, she just full court passes.
It's deceptive too.
You know what I'm saying? Nice handle, getting to her spots. So and I think she's still been working her way out of that injury too. So in the midst of that, so that's probably had to battle with her. People are really lucky that she got hurt because she would have a lot more notoriety, if that never happened to her. But she's still a hell of a player though.
What about Kaya Goldsby?
Oh man, super talented, little Army baby. Parents, good parents, great parents. All of our parents, great parents. For sure. For the most part.
And she lives in Missouri, am I right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so she came to us. She was one of the ones I was talking about that she had some other stuff going on too. She played multiple sports, and Missouri might have been going on a little bit longer too. And she got to the Final Four in Missouri for her playoff basketball or whatever. But great kid to be around, hard nosed, can do a lot of the dirty work that you ask her to do too, and really just tapping into her skill set and showing her how to work and working on her weaknesses and stuff like that. But man, she ended up, me and you said it a lot of times, she got better on a tournament by tournament basis, to where she in the end was one of the more consistent ones that we had, to where she was really reliable on both sides of the floor too. Not
and
just
she was our primary ball handler.
So had to set the tone, had to run the point, do all that stuff too with the bodies that we had that were out.
For real, because I think what we ended the summer with 7 or was it 8?
Yeah, it was 7.
See,
it might
So we needed all that contribution.
It might have been 8, but I mean, it was about 7. Yeah.
What about Tangi, man? Yeah, let's go ahead to the home team.
Oh man, I've the same stuff I said about her from the get-go. She just started playing basketball her freshman year, and I use her as a stepping stone especially for the girls that I got. Cause I got a lot of girls that just start playing now too, and I'm like, y'all don't realize what I'm saying. Y'all might hear me say she's just started playing basketball. No, some of y'all might have played Pee Wee, did all this. Like, nah, she just started playing basketball her freshman year. You know what I'm saying? So,
man,
she's one of those ones where whatever she want to get out of it, she'll get out of it. It's just her getting out of her own way, her getting out of her own head, and pushing herself to that next gear. Skill set been there. She can do everything, which, it might not show in the game. She might not do it or use all her tools,
right,
but the tool bag is deep, when she wanted to be.
That's fact.
So, I think really as she know where she's going, so that's, a burden up off of her, but really just digging deep within herself and saying, okay, how can I push myself in these other aspects? Because me and you both know how serious I take, all of it, the weights, the running, your nutrition, all that stuff.
The entire process.
And being an athlete, especially in getting ready to be a college athlete. But super talented, and really doesn't know how good she is.
Still.
And
you've been saying that for a minute. Yeah. What about K2, old Kerrigan Powell?
Oh, man. She super upside, 6-footer.
PC North, right?
Oh, yeah. Good kid. Gonna say all the right things. Super charismatic. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of personality.
Yeah, a lot of that. And I feel like she sells herself short sometimes, too, just on the really putting time into her game part. But, I mean, it speaks for itself because if I pulled up my message log of me talking to coaches, they all saying the same things. Like, man, she's a steal. She has major upside. She can do this and do that. And what I respected about her the most is she never – we had to make her do a lot of things offensively, especially as far as, attacking the basket and stuff like that. She doesn't mind shooting. She likes, shooting it. And she got a pretty nice stroke.
Right.
But that defensive end, man, she can do a lot of things naturally that you can tell, somebody taught her the right way. Whether it be hedging hard, in recovery and stuff like that, rebounding. She can affect the game in multiple ways.
Right.
I remember vividly in that Atlanta tournament, which was the best one we played in all summer. She had a game where she got an article written up about her after the game. And then if you look at the stat sheet after the game, she didn't score a point.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? So she out there blocking shots, rebounding, locking people up, making the right plays, assists, all that. Like, she can affect the game in so many different ways.
She was okay with not scoring.
Yeah, she never cared about that. And that's a good thing. It's a blessing and a curse too, because sometimes when you need her to, hey man, you got this, you ain't even looking at that, you need to. But nah, man, sky's the limit for her too. If she really lock in on it, that's gonna be a scary sight for somebody.
Man, long and lanky too. You know what I mean? That's big. What about Vivian Hill?
Oh man, she arguably developed more than anybody else on our team this summer, man.
And she's at Classen out here in Oklahoma City, right?
Very talented squad, around a lot of talent, day in and day out. She can get lost in the shuffle. She has got lost in the shuffle before, but she's able to stand out at many different times with us this summer, get more comfortable, own up into her role,
right?
And, get a little bit more aggressive too. Great kid, talk your ear off. You know what I'm saying?
She need her own podcast. That's for sure.
Man, it was I was so happy to see her, the way that she grew, and what she did with the opportunities that she had.
What about Big Olivia, as we call her, Big O, Olivia Stacy?
Oh,
she joined us in the latter part of the summer.
Yeah, super quiet, soft-spoken, but skilled, super skilled.
And where did she go to school at? That one I don't know.
It's in Shawnee, but it's not Shawnee.
Okay, was it North Rock Creek?
Yeah,
or something like that?
Something like that.
See,
but
figure it out.
Yeah, she's she's a super sleeper too. Great size, great footwork, great skill. Just she really only know one speed. Once she hits that, that other speed, the other gear, sky's the limit for her too, man. She is one of those ones. She doesn't know how good she is. And if you see that pattern of a lot of girls we talking about, they don't know how good they are. Where from the outside looking at other people, be like, man, that girl's really good. Or, you know what I'm saying, because she has this role on a really good team, or she does this with a really good team. But we see some of those things that they lacking, or deficiencies, or where they need to get pushed at. And that's our job to do that, is to push them. AAU is about developing. You know what I'm saying? If you don't develop throughout the summer, then you didn't really get better, and you didn't really get as much out of it. As so you can say, hey, I played with such and such, or I was on this team. But if you didn't get any better, didn't really get to work in your game, then you really didn't get much out of it, especially with the money that you spending, unless you on a circuit team and they paying for all that or whatnot. But yeah, she's one that would be, all of our girls, if they want to, they'll play college basketball at a high level
in a real way. Now we're gonna talk to some of the ones that had a little bumpy road as far as injury go. What about Brianna Williams?
Oh man, she been one of my favorites.
Midwest City product.
Before I was even coaching and helping out. Sniper, shots automatic, and me being a shooter myself too. It's hard when you come off ACL or something like that. Your legs not acting the same. You know what I'm saying? Not as even. That can throw off your balance, throw off your shot, throw off your trajectory, throw off your range. All that goes into it. And she still was one of the ones who consistently. I mean, if she gets her opportunities, she's a very high percentage shooter. Right. And she was really frustrated throughout the process of not being able to go full speed the way that she really wanted to and move into that. So,
and she actually got to. I was so proud that she was actually able to get out there on the court and get some action.
Man,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, especially down the stretch, because it was a good little minute where we didn't have her. She was with us and she was with everything and at everything that we were supposed to be at. But she definitely is one of my favorite kids, just from not even basketball, just on a kid standpoint. Just a great kid, man.
And you can tell.
Oh yeah, and she's getting her just due. She's been getting it too. Yeah. Getting the offers, and she'll have opportunity to play at the next level too. So yeah, she'll be a good one too.
What about Amaya Sutton?
That is, man, take it how you must. That's the most talented girl we had on our team.
Another Classen product.
Oh man, and
she knew one thing: attack.
Man, I'm telling you, and I call her Lady Hard too. Downhill hard, get to her spots, finish well.
Right.
Nice jumper. Can do it in the mid range. Can do it from the three. Ain't afraid to bang you a little bit. You know what I'm saying, and do what she got to do to get to her spots. But I would say she was the most talented. And the thing is, we were a 22 team, but we had Vivian was a 23. She was a 23. And Big O ended up being 23 too.
Yeah. Pups.
But Maya was the most talented girl on our team from top to bottom. Like, she was slated to really take off. Her and Reagan, which I'm sure you're gonna mention her too. But those two were probably the two most consistent. Well, those two and Carly were probably the two most consistent. All the way around. Before the injuries. Amaya is a D1 basketball player. It's no doubt in my mind. At least low major, if not high. But she's just now figuring it out, getting her, her motor going, getting her sense of the game up. And she ain't afraid of nothing, man. And she got that. She got that hit about her.
She go take that bump, go and take a spill on the floor, jump right back up like nothing. Go to the free throw line and knock down two.
Yep.
And now you mentioned the old Reagan Crisp.
Oh man,
you know what I'm saying?
Super ball hawk, on ball defender is you know what I'm saying, at about, if you're talking 2K ratings, about 99. She know how to turn girls, get up in them.
McGinnis, right?
Yep.
Bishop
McGinnis. Her injury was untimely. She was another one that we was missing real bad. But
true PG.
Yeah, true PG, man. Set the offense. True PG to a point where if she ain't got the ball, she kind of like, well, what am I supposed to be doing? You know what I'm saying?
I'm still rocking my hand.
Doing that, but and that was a lot of her challenge too, is letting her know, like, you can do more than just be on the ball. You can actually, now you with a team of girls who's very balanced, so you can show what you can do even without the ball too.
Yeah.
Running the floor, getting to these spots, knocking down your jumpers, setting other girls up. But I mean, small, very small, but I mean, as tough as they come.
Oh yeah.
And she's been like that since before the teams merged, and she was one of those ones that played a lot and did a lot for them too. So yeah, man, her ceiling is very high as well. And a lot of people from the eye test, they'll be like, you know what I'm saying? They might not see it at first, but if you a basketball head and you paying attention to the game,
right,
she's somebody that you want on your team.
That's facts.
For sure.
Now that pretty much, I think, now correct me if I'm wrong, that sums up everybody that played for the two of us over the summer, right? I didn't leave anybody out, did I?
Who we missing? We had some like a little late edition. We had Miracle came and played with us too.
Oh yeah,
for that
yeah,
one tournament.
Yeah. She came in there for Arkansas.
I think that's everybody.
Yeah,
but Miracle is a dog too. Man.
Oh yeah, different.
Over at Midwest City, she gonna be a problem.
Oh yeah, super respectful kid too, but totally different on that court. You know what I mean? But I tell you, there is one that we haven't mentioned. You know, she was one of the big dogs. We ain't talked about Jada. You know what I mean? Oh, Jada O'Connor.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Pooh, better known as Pooh.
But she never played with us though.
No, she didn't. But since we mentioned Dariana and Jordan earlier, we definitely got to talk about Pooh. Man.
High ceiling, great size, great length.
Another 23 kid.
Very competitive, which I can respect. I can always respect that. You know, like to get after it. Great jumper, can knock that jumper down too,
for sure. And
really opened up her game a lot this summer. Me and you watching her was saying how pivotal she was in a lot of those wins that they had from, you know, just doing the things that necessarily don't stand out to most people. You know, making timely shots here and there, making the right pass, making the right rebound at this, you know, point in time. Might not filled up the stat sheet, you know, all the way, but our team was so loaded. You know what I'm saying? Didn't have to do too much. And the times that she did do it and she was confident, she looked really good doing it. So, yeah, man, she's one of those ones, you know, she's got plenty of offers already too. And they'll keep coming in.
More to come.
So, yeah, she'll keep growing her game too.
I feel that. That rounds out the summer, my boy. You know, it definitely was a blast doing it. But now, we got to let's shift away from basketball real quick as we round this whole thing up or wrap this thing up. What can you be found doing if you ain't coaching, man? Because you a sports guy, you dialed in always. But I know you personally, so I know you can hit that off switch and keep your feet up and do some regular human being type stuff. So what's one of or some of your hobbies whenever you're not in coach mode?
Chilling, you know, getting together with my friends, my brothers, you know what I'm saying, and I like to play dominoes, you know what I'm saying?
Y'all get it going over here.
Yeah, I like to go bowling. And I'm really one of the ones now, I can just sit around and do nothing and just be fine with it.
I feel that.
Like, really, off day is off day.
Off day. Keep your feet up.
Yeah, just be chilling. I ain't got to go out nowhere, go see nobody, go do nothing. So, yeah, I know how to detach, you know, when I need to. And even when I do, I'm still, you know, geared into the game. I might keep a notebook, write a couple things too. But them off days are just as important, man. You got to be able to unwind, too, because there's only so much you can control. And I'm a big believer in, you know what I'm saying, control what you can, and then, don't let it, you know, take over your mind on the stuff that you can't.
Facts. So, and sports will still be on the TV screen.
Oh, yeah. All day, every day. You know what I'm saying? There's something that's going on. So.
Football, men's or women's basketball, you know what I mean? Softball, I've seen that. All right. Now we got to talk about the all due disrespect section, rather. Think about a game we lost we wasn't supposed to lose, man. From this past summer when we were coaching, or last season with your Northwest Classen girls, man. A game that got away from you that shouldn't have. And if you could go back and run it back, you go into that one.
Ooh. Well, summer-wise, let me see.
I know we didn't
whenever we we didn't lose many. Whenever we merged back and played in one of them little local tournaments. And we lost to
Jason Terry's team.
Yeah.
They were tough.
Both of those times, that shouldn't have happened. And even with, you know, all due disrespect, whatever, we had players that got injured.
Facts.
You know, at very untimely, like Reagan and Amaya. That was that same weekend, I believe, that happened for them in that first game when that happened, and they both happened like relatively early.
Oh yeah,
throughout that weekend. So two
crucial pieces, man.
But we shouldn't have lost those games, and then I can't think of when it was just us, our squad, a team that. When we was in Texas at that Super 64, it was whatever game we lost in that pool. We were like
Were we in Mansfield or
it was
Dallas?
in Mansfield.
Yeah, I remember that.
We
one.
shouldn't have lost that one, and we did.
Came in there sleepwalking, man.
Yeah,
got rolled.
Didn't
up.
really want to get up into people and all that, but
I feel that.
that's a game that we shouldn't have lost. As far as school ball wise, what was two that we shouldn't have? I can't really think of nobody off the top of my head that we just shouldn't have. It was games where we had opportunities. To be, it could have been a lot closer than what it was. When we played Millwood last year,
yeah,
we ended up losing that by like 10. But Tangi wasn't the same. No, she was just coming off injury, and she really wasn't going.
Right.
She was just spot shooting. That was really all she was doing.
Didn't want to take that bump.
And we really needed somebody because, the way they ran. I ain't even going to say too much because they might not be thinking the way that I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I know the way that they set their defense up.
Right.
And we need the people to be able to penetrate the gaps and to get in the paint, and do all that. We just didn't really have too much of that game.
Ordinarily, it'd have been her, but if she was a different version of herself.
Exactly. And we still squeaked by and lost it by 10. But that could have been a very winnable game. It would have been a good win for us, too. But, yeah, it is what it is.
Yes, sir. Well, brother, we can sit up here and chop it up all day strong, all day long, man. But, you're definitely one of the guys that I want to holler at. You've been on my list for a minute. Definitely somebody I would consider to be my best friend in the business. You know what I'm saying?
Sure, man.
So you keep doing what you're doing, brother, and we're going to stay connected as always, man.
Oh, yeah. You my guy, man. And anybody got something bad to say about you, tell them come see me real quick.
There we go. We do it like that, man.
You my guy.
Oh, yeah.
Good dude. We've been doing it for a minute. You know your stuff. I know what you're doing with that Central program, so I already know where they about to go and where they going to take off to and get there. And I'm trying to, do the best that I can in my situation and get there too. I mean, you talked about that too. A lot of people try to bounce around and worry about their next step. I want to make where I'm at respectable. I want to make that a household name before, I try to move on and go somewhere. So a lot of people from the outside looking in might think, oh, yeah, once Tangi get done, he going to try to go somewhere. No, that's not the case for me.
Ain't the way you built. We unpack the bags.
Exactly. I'm trying to get something out of what I got. I love where I'm at. I love Northwest Classen. I stand by Northwest Classen. I stand by my administration. And, don't be surprised if we turn the tide. So, it is what it is.
Nothing else to say after that, bruh.